everybody, and welcome to The One Show with Alex Jones.
And Matt Baker. Now, all this week, we are celebrating 10 years on the telly. That's 2,110 shows, including this one.
Good maths and helping us to look back down memory lane. Our 5 One Show stalwarts tonight. We've got Angela Rippon with us.
We got Joe Crowley and Joe.
We've got a dancing Mike Dilger.
Miranda Krasovnikov, who brought along her 8-year-old son Oliver for his second One Show appearance. Now, here's his first from 2008. On the sofa with Dawn French, just 3 weeks old.
Lovely. Sorry about that, Oliver, but it's lovely to have you with us, my friend. It really is. And on to our guest tonight, who has also been on The One Show quite a few times.
Many
before.
times.
Do you remember that time that he proved that he really couldn't hold his drink?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, here it is.
Go on now, son! Yeah. Whoa. Good, that looks good. Ooh. It's on. It's on. Hey! Hey! Classic! Yes! Oh, it's pub landlord Elmarie! Back for more. Back for more. All right.
Welcome, Al. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
As you can see, we've gone cash on the whole 10-year thing.
This is terribly exciting.
Terribly exciting.
Terribly exciting.
Biggest change in your life, then, over the last 10 years?
I got divorced. Thanks for bringing that up.
No problem, anytime. That's a conversation.
Well, we'll move on to our viewers and what they've been up to in the last 10 years. Because last night we did ask you to tell us how your lives may have been changed since 2006. And already you've been sending in your stories. For instance, we got this from Richard, look, who worked in the City of London, gave everything up, and now he runs a glamping site.
Oh, good for him.
Oh. Freedom, there's a picture of freedom.
That's lovely.
It is, isn't it? Keep the stories coming. And, for instance, maybe you've dramatically changed your appearance, your lifestyle, or maybe you've built something amazing. A shed, or maybe something more amazing than that even.
Maybe you've got some pugs. Maybe you've got some pugs,
It
some
could be
dogs.
anything.
It could be anything.
Whatever's important to the viewer, you see.
Yeah.
Some people like pugs.
A lot of people like pugs.
Exactly.
Are you going somewhere with this?
No, I'm not.
My daughter's mad as well. My daughter's
just bringing it in, you know. Trying to get us off the divorce topic. Thanks a lot.
You brought it up.
No, you asked.
You brought it up.
Now, for parents, one of the biggest changes and challenges throughout the past 10 years has been keeping children safe online, as the internet has become an even bigger part of our lives.
Now, the police have a huge job on their hands to catch the criminals trying to exploit children from afar. And Dom's been to see their dedicated task force in action.
Like thousands of teenagers across Britain, 14-year-old Brett Bednar loved playing on his computer and chatting online with other gamers, like 20-year-old Lewis Danes. After becoming virtual friends, Brett agreed to meet up. But in the real world, his new friend turned out to be a killer.
Please use Breck's voice and story to talk to the children in your lives. Unfortunately, I can never get my son back, but you still have time to save yours.
Breck's mother is Lauren Lefebvre.
Cannot take it away. It's always there. It's like having the worst day of your life every day and not being able to just escape it.
Lauren set up the Breck Foundation to encourage safe play online and highlight the potential dangers of grooming.
You're not actually suggesting that children and/or parents don't use chat rooms, are you?
We're not trying to be old-fashioned. We're not trying to say, get off the internet. We're saying, do it safely. Breck would have never known he was being groomed. He was getting compliments, and he had this, friend that he trusted. We can't just think of grooming as being something that's scary. For Breck, it would have felt good.
Today, Lauren and I are visiting the National Crime Agency in London. It's the first time anyone's been allowed to film inside their tracking room. Around the clock, 10 officers monitor online conversations between children and suspected groomers as they happen.
This perpetrator has got no idea that you're monitoring this conversation at all, has he?
No.
In this exchange, a man in his 20s is pretending to be a teenage boy on a popular social media site. Lead investigator Anna Williams tells us why her team's concerned.
As you can see there, that there's a line where the offender asks the child to bend over and touch her toes. Now, obviously, that offender has got a clear intention of what he wants that child to do. We can see there from the next line that the victim has sent an image, which we now know to be an indecent image of the victim. This offender has quite successfully gained the trust of his children without ever meeting them face to face.
It upsets me that this poor girl is actually doing what he says. It's so scary because I know how often this is happening.
The man, tracked by officers as he asked a child to send him indecent images, has since been arrested. But of course, that's only half the story. I also want to know what the big social media companies are doing to protect our children online.
6 years ago, the government set up a body called the UK Council for Child Internet Safety, and its primary function was to protect children online. Its board members include Facebook, Google and Microsoft.
We asked all three online giants to meet myself and Lauren. Not one of them took us up on the offer.
I'm shocked, to be honest. You know, it's their responsibility, it's corporate social responsibility for them to make sure that people using their services are safe. For me, it's a huge slap in the face.
A member of the Child Internet Safety Council who is happy to meet is Alan Wardle, Head of Policy at the NSPCC.
Last year, grooming went up by 50%, so the problem is perpetuating, it's not decreasing.
The companies where children are interacting online need to be held to certain standards that are enforceable. They are all involved in keeping children safe online, but at the NSPCC, we think they could do more.
It's about working together, back to, you know, just working as a team, because we need everyone to pitch in.
We know that parents are doing their bit and are really trying their best. The police have done a lot over recent years as well. It's really important that everyone is playing their part and really trying to do their best to keep children safe, and that we're holding people to account for that as well.
The National Crime Agency says it's intervened in around 2,000 incidents in the last year alone where online predators were seeking to exploit children. But Breck's murder is a reminder that more needs to be done.
There's always something to remind me of Breck, and everything brings me back to missing him. And why did it happen? Why did this have to happen?
Well, hopefully those internet companies will do their part in tackling this, even though they didn't want to talk to us there. But there are steps that you can take if you are a worried parent.
Now, the BBC supports an initiative called Internet Matters, which has a wealth of advice from setting up phones and tablets to dealing with cyberbullying, and links are on our website. And you were saying, interestingly, Al, that, you know, your kids have lessons about this, but it's the parents who actually...
Yeah, I mean, I've never had my kids do at the school they're at. They have, you know, cyber awareness classes, and they're told what to look out for in the way that adults perhaps don't, you know, and the internet's happening to everyone. It's not just happening to kids, it's happening to everybody in every walk of life, I think, and I mean, that film is incredibly worrying. I mean, for everyone, as well as children, obviously, but...
Well, Angela, a lot of what we do here on The One Show is try and help viewers with their problems, and you have a solution to a problem that's become a real issue in the last few years.
We did indeed, and this was a story that was prompted by the death of the Bristol poppy seller, Olive Cook, remember, 92-year-old, and it was at the time suggested that she was under a great deal of stress because of the number of letters she was getting from charities who were requesting money from her. Well, as a result of that story, I met a lady called Daphne Clark, and she and I went to see the charity industry regulators to see if we could come up with the wording in a letter that could be sent to charities saying very clearly, I do not want to receive a letter, a telephone call or an email requesting money from me. And this is the letter that we came up with. We put it on the One Show website, and to date we have had over 50,000 downloads of this letter. This is now something that you can send to the charities. This was back in June of 2015. But since then, things have moved on, because the government this year, in March of this year, came out with a law which basically said to charities that you have to be aware of your responsibility to vulnerable people. And you must not, and the wording is important, be unreasonably persistent in asking for money for your charity. And next year, in 2017, we're going to go another stage further. I think a lot of viewers will be familiar with the telephone preference service and the postal preference service, which you can use if you don't want those unwanted phone calls from people. Well, there's now going to be something which is going to be called officially the fundraising preference service, and this will be a one-stop shop so that you can actually get charities not to get in touch with you on any level unless you genuinely do want to support them. Great move, and it came from the One Show letter.
But we often, Jo, harness the power of the audience, don't we? And a shining example of that was your Lost Tommies film. That had a big response, didn't it?
Huge response. This was just a few months ago. We made a film about this collection of photographs of World War I soldiers that were unidentified. We asked the One Show audience for help. They don't let you down. Hundreds of people got in touch. They recognised cap badges and different parts of uniform insignia. And we have some great news. We have, through that, been able to identify at least some of the soldiers. So here we have Sidney Carr. And he's pictured in a moment next to his grandson, Jeff Spicer. Sidney was in the Royal Army Medical Corps. And we also now know that this soldier here is Joshua Riley, also in the Royal Army Medical Corps. And he's pictured here next to Pauline Ogden, his granddaughter. So these people now have that extra bit of insight into their family history, which is remarkable.
That's what I love about the One Show. Now, Al, we've lined up some more clips. Looking back over the last 10 years. We've only got time for one, actually. We've got this idea of how to choose.
So you've got
there you
Python's Choice, Ronnie Wood's Monster Ale, or you could have Matt on Tap.
Oh, I think it's got to be Matt on Tap as well.
Does it? Are you sure?
This is brilliant.
The end's a bit embarrassing.
No, it's not. So we showed this back in March 2013. Matthew.
How embarrassing.
Oh, it's I'm sweating already.
I think it's lovely.
He's gone pink.
I've got the bead on. I've got the bead on, as my mate would say.
Matt recreated Roy Castle's famous tap dance, didn't you, alongside 600 dancers as a goodbye to Television Centre.
I tell you what, no.
No, don't change your mind. Let's see it.
I'm going to have the beer.
Naughty, 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 naughty Santa.
Every show should end with Matt when he nips out there and...
Oh, I love a bit of that. I tell you what, Al.
You've got it.
You've got finish.
Oh, hot. Now, it's only 2 weeks ago that our match here was in Rio, watching Team GB's gymnasts winning medal after medal. But it's already time for the next huge event, which is, of course, the Paralympics.
And here are 3 British para-athletes hoping that there are more medals to come. Cheers.
My name is Gemma Wiggs, and I'm Emma Wiggs' wife.
And I'm James Wiggs, and I'm Emma Wiggs' twin brother. Emma was incredibly competitive, always into her sport. When Emma was 18, she contracted a virus. It involved her losing the use of her legs. It crushed her. I felt the only way to get her through that was actually by getting her to one of these talent days for the Paralympics. I think the results spoke for themselves.
I think for her, canoeing felt natural on the water. Being a sprint sport, it was quite different to what she'd done before. It's not without its challenges, but with challenges and hard work comes success. And we can proudly sit here and say she's now 5 times world champion.
And a brilliant start by Emma Wiggs from Great Britain.
It's amazing for us to be part of that journey, to see her change over the last 4 years from becoming a good athlete to an absolutely world-class athlete.
It will be Emma Wiggs of Great Britain that takes the gold.
She definitely believes she can go and do it.
She can bring back the gold, definitely.
My name is Tom Whittaker, and I'm Ali Jawad's personal coach. Ali was born in Lebanon with no legs, and his parents made a decision to move to the UK, where he grew up in Tottenham. I guess the story goes that 16-year-old Ali Jawad decides to go down to the gym and manages to surprise everybody when he lifts 100 kilos, first time he ever grabs a barbell. When Ali was diagnosed with Crohn's, it shook him. But it wasn't long before his resolve kicked in and he decided he was going to fight it. And he set his ambitions and his targets again for the London Paralympic Games in 2012. From there on, he was relentless in his ambition to try and win a medal that he felt like he could have potentially got at his first Paralympics in Beijing. To see him lift the gold medal winning weight at the World Championships was a really sort of emotional moment for him, but it was an emotional moment for all of us that were involved in having the privilege of going on that journey with him. He's got to remember all the training that he's been doing, he's got to take that confidence with him, and if he delivers to his potential, then he's certainly got an opportunity in Rio to come back with a medal.
My name's Stephen Reed and I'm Gordon Reed's brother. My name's Claire McDonald and I'm Gordon Reid's strength and conditioning coach.
Gordon was about 4 or 5 when we started playing. There was a tennis club kind of quite local to us, so we just kind of grew up playing tennis and we all really enjoyed it as children. When Gordon was around 12, he contracted transverse myelitis, which affects the nerves running up and down the spine. He was unable to kind of get out of bed for a few months, and there was a lot of doubt about his future and whether he'd be up and active again.
First time I met Gordon, he was a young 15-year-old. Although he did start to show potential in tennis, he still had a long way to go. Wimbledon was absolutely fantastic. It was like the dream team, a dream coming true.
Wimbledon champion, Scotland's Gordon Reid.
Once he won that final point, I think everyone was just ecstatic that he'd finally come so far and been able to grab the singles and doubles in the same year. It's just amazing.
Oh, he's got it!
I think Gordon has a real good chance in Rio. He's a determined athlete and I'm sure he'll leave everything on the court. So on the day, the best man with the best attitude will win, and I'm hoping that's Gordon.
And you can see them all over the next couple of weeks. The opening ceremony is tomorrow night and the games are on until Sunday the 18th. I can't wait to see the weightlifting now after that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of him on the television and he's just incredible to watch.
Wonderful.
Let's talk about your new tour then.
Oh, yeah.
You're heading off again.
Yes.
And this will be your first one since the EU referendum.
Yeah.
So, question is, couple of months on, what does the pub landlord make of Brexit?
He's delighted.
Of course he is.
It's wonderful. And he's breathing the sweet air of freedom every single day. It's a wonderful... He loves it. He absolutely loves it. And it's the main thing. I mean, I am going on tour this week. This is my last day of having hair.
Oh,
I have to cut it all off.
Yes.
It's a bit of a bittersweet thing.
Yeah?
Because, you know, everyone thinks I'm bald, and as you can see, I'm not... It's not actual...
You've got a bit.
Do you sort of shave it with a wet razor, then, or do you
No, I do it with a beard trimmer, and I get the beard off, and, you know, so you get all my beautiful features fully defined, my filter, my cheekbones. But tragically, today's my last day.
So when will you do that in the morning, then?
In the morning, yeah. I mean, obviously, we're supposed to talk about the tour, but... Sorry, I'm actually talking about my hair.
But to be fair, because you thought that Remain would win, so
I did. Yeah, I mean, I'm classic. I'm absolutely classic. Like during the campaign, people were saying, "Oh, you're media London types. You think it's going to be Remain," and I did. I'm happy to admit that because that was certainly the confirmation bias amongst the people I knew. And it didn't. And so
had you written loads of material with that in mind?
Oh no, so
you know, I had to basically do this. You know?
Yeah, exactly. My notes are on there.
And to do that, and but to be honest, a lot of it is it's like flipping a fried egg. You just turn the joke over, and it's the other. A lot of the jokes are the other way round.
But, no, but politically, no, you're all right. You're all right. It's all right. Don't worry.
Sorry, I don't want to be a pain.
No, but politically, you know, lots is going to happen. I mean, you know, you've got the...
Well, we've got 10 years of this being talked about. So, as a subject... I mean, I think one of the really interesting things about it is that the big idea of the referendum is it was going to stop the, you know, it's finally going to put it to rest. And what we've now got is, you know, after Article 50, there'll be 2 years. There's a 2-year negotiation period, and then there'll be whatever comes after that, and whatever, you know. So we're in.
But you've also got Donald Trump as well in America. I mean, how quickly can you react then to the changes as they happen?
Well, I don't know. How quickly can I dig an air raid shelter when Trump wins? Well, no, Trump. I mean, the Trump thing. There'll be an immediate. There'll be jokes on the night. There'll be jokes the next week.
So your show will evolve then.
The show has to evolve. The show has to evolve, and I mean, in a way, you've got a big subject like Trump. You feel like a kind of matador with the cloak, thinking, "OK, come here this way, and we'll get the best joke out of it," rather than the subject run you over. Because he's quite difficult to be sort of funny about because it's quite ridiculous. Some of it. And there's been a year, I think, for a lot of comedy writers and comedians I know, where basically reality has been outflanking everyone, and you come up with something really funny, and then
it's more ridiculous in real life.
The reality is more ridiculous.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, it's a bit. It can be annoying, but it's also one of the challenges of writing a thing and keeping it moving, keeping it fresh. So you know, I'm not going to complain. Well, it's the hair I'm worried about.
Well, we can tell.
You do look really kind of comfy and cosy with a bit.
I do, don't I?
You do.
And it's very soft as well.
Oh, I will have a go. Oh.
Not you.
You've seen me dancing.
I mean, you can dance.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah,
The
he
lad's got
can.
talent.
Matt can do
Thanks,
everything,
man.
to be fair.
Yeah.
Al's new
sweating again
tour,
now.
back to Al. Let's go backwards together. It starts in September and
Yes.
heads all across the UK until next May.
Yeah.
Now, enjoying all of this with us, are part of our wildlife team. Since 2008, we've got Mike and Miranda in tonight. And between them, they've pretty much covered every animal that lives here in the UK, don't you see? Oh, yes.
I tell you what, every badger, fox, squirrel's been on the telly. Everyone that lives in Britain.
No pugs.
No pugs yet. But it's coming. Now, the One Show has featured wildlife since the very beginning, when we first met two very special birds in Scotland.
Today, I'm heading off to see Britain's biggest bird of prey, the white-tailed eagle. Luckily for us, our kit has got a lift. But if we want to catch up with surely Scotland's most successful conservation project ever, we've got an hour's hike up that path. During the early 20th century, white-tailed eagles became extinct in the UK due to illegal persecution. But thanks to a reintroduction project that started in the 1970s, they're now thriving. 10 years ago, the One Show sent Kate Humble to the Isle of Mull off the west coast of Scotland to learn more about this conservation project. Whilst there, she met two recently hatched eagles, Otie and Haggis.
There's another one, a little bit obscured by one of those conifers. Well, if there's two...
You're right. So Otie must have flown round.
Must have come round and joined.
So we definitely know
We've
it's
got
haggis.
yeah. It wouldn't be any other chick, not this close to the nest.
10 years on, I'm going back to see how those chicks are doing, with Dave Sexton from the RSPB. Well, Dave, a decade on, and you, sir, have not aged at all. But what about Haggis and Otie? What are they up to?
They've done really well for themselves. They left Mull after 2006 and they moved around Scotland for their first 4 or 5 years, as young sea eagles do, and now they're settled themselves and they're breeding.
But their parents, Sky and Freezer, are still here. White-tailed eagles pair for life. And since having Otie and Haggis, they've had a further 8 chicks. And we're off to check on their new arrival.
There's nearly always an adult on duty somewhere, so there's a good chance that Sky or Freezer will be sitting on sentry duty.
So very cautiously, we approach the nest.
Here's the nest.
I just saw a little movement of maybe a wing or a head. The nest's, what, 15 metres up?
Yeah.
It's massive.
Sky and Freezer sometimes sit on the corner down here. I can't see them there at the moment, so they might be away hunting.
So Dave gets his team to work. The aim is to safely bring the chick down for a health check, then put it back as quickly as possible. But as they're working, we spot something flying high in the sky.
Adult.
OK. Yeah, that's one of
Which
the
one?
adults. That looks like Freezer. That's the female. She's come in, presumably to come to check the chick, and has found us. I think she's used to it now. We've been ringing her chicks since 1998. So she probably just thinks, oh, God, it's them again, you know?
The white tail as it flew overhead was so distinct, but I'm amazed at how blonde she is up top.
And compared to the chick is really dark chocolate brown. But as they get older, they get paler and paler, and they get that lovely blonde head.
How old is Freezer?
She's 24 years old now. So Sky and Freezer together have been responsible for really helping the population grow and getting the reintroduction project back on its feet.
There she goes, there she goes.
Meanwhile, with the chick secure, it's lowered out of the nest.
Here it comes.
Take her up here.
Yeah. Anything to declare? Yes, an enormous eagle chick. Wow, look at that.
We'll sit down.
Justin, a member of Dave's team, then measures and weighs the chick, and based on its size, can determine if Otie and Haggis have a new brother or sister.
Nice big thick legs here. That's got to be a girl.
You think it's a girl?
Yeah, just looking at the size of its legs for a start.
7 weeks old, and already she's got absolutely enormous talons.
Once the check is complete, she is quickly hoisted back up to the nest, leaving this youngster to continue being an integral part of the return of this eagle back to British skies.
It's remarkable that in the 10 years since the One Show first visited this project, Sky and Freezer have gone on to become great, great,
grandparents. And thanks to the work of Dave and his team, who's to say in the next 10 years they could become great, 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 great grandparents. Now, isn't that a wonderful thought?
He's a lucky lad, is Al.
A great film.
And we've just heard today as well, the chick is fledged, hanging out with the parents, going freezer. All is well. One more added to the population in Mull, white-tailed eagles.
Wow.
Quality bird.
Yeah. Well, we should certainly mention the red kite. This is not a white-tailed eagle, it's a red kite that we've got here. So this is Scarlett sitting on Emma's hand here. And
that's Scarlett. That's Emma.
Yes.
She comes from Pembrokeshire Falconry, and she's brought this beautiful bird down. We've talked about successes and failures in the last 10 years, the one show's been on, and red kite is definitely a success. When I was a kid, bird watching back in the 70s and 80s, the only place you could see it was mid-Wales, Tregaron, Devil's Bridge. They'd been persecuted beyond existence, gone from England, gone from Scotland. 1989, the RSPB and the Joint Nature Conservation Committee and a few other conservation charities thought, let's bring them back. Went to Sweden, went to Spain, brought back about 30 birds, and they have gone bonkers and ballistic. You think about the Chilterns particularly, that's an area where they've done phenomenally well. You've got the M40, there are stacks of them flying around, so much so that from that 30, there are now over 1,800 pairs. And this is me at Tiggerwinkle's Wildlife Centre, and I've got a red kite that's being rehabilitated there, ready for release.
Oh. But as you said, we have featured lots of reintroductions. Miranda, which one for you then was the biggest success?
Well, actually, it was one of the very first stories that I did for the One Show. I was pregnant with Oliver at the time. We were doing a whole load of butterfly stories, and we featured one on the large blue butterfly. Now, this is a butterfly that went extinct in Britain in 1979, but they had a very successful reintroduction programme with some stock from Sweden. And in 2006, so 10 years ago, we had 10,000 individuals in the whole of the UK. 10 years on, we have 10,000 individuals in just Gloucester and Somerset alone. It's a magnificent species, and so 2016's been a real bumper year for these as well.
Yeah.
And Miranda, it has to be said, you must be the most talented underwater presenter in the world. Not just on the One Show. Well, but doing a piece to camera in a mask underwater.
You've nailed it.
You have. You've cornered the market
when you've
there.
got sharks swimming in a tank around you, and you're trying to do live camera. That's
not
this one, but yeah, or seals or whatever. Yeah,
but you've been heartened, haven't you,
so.
by the positive changes that you've seen in marine conservation over the last 10 years?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, one of the greatest success stories, I think, as far as the marine world is concerned, is that we've got 50 designated sites around the country now, marine conservation zones where the wildlife is being really well looked after, really protected. So, you know, we can go and dive with seals and dolphins knowing that they are being looked after.
Yeah. We've got time for another little clip. One show it's going to have a wildlife theme. Scarlett's being very well behaved here, but 3 clips from animal moments to choose from.
So you can go frog, ferret, or vulture.
Well, the Scarlett's looking. My daughter's called Scarlett, and she's looking at me the way that my daughter does when she needs pocket money. So I'm going to stay off the birds of prey. We'll go frog.
Frog. Good choice. It's from September 2009, starring Miranda, with Christine and Adrian, and a very, very slippery frog. Here it is.
This is a very frisky frog. It's already made one bid for freedom.
Oh! There it goes! There it goes! There it goes!
Right.
Here's the frog.
Wasn't very... Look, I've come out in a sweat. Miranda, you amateur.
I know. But I was very quick grabbing it behind the screen, wasn't I? So
earlier on, we asked for your examples of huge changes in your lives over the past 10 years. We've got a quick one from Al here.
Yeah, Andrew's retired since 2006, moved to Somerset, bought an orchard and became a town crier.
There you go. Please do keep sending in all of your stories via email or using social media.
Thanks to Al. His tour, Let's Go Backwards Together, begins in September.
Heads off.
Heads coming off.
Happy shaving. A big thank you to all of our One Show team. Tomorrow, our guest will be the incredible Mo Farah. We will see you at 7. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you, everyone.
So in the end, the Mitchells always stick together, but can